We are talking fireworks here in June, and what I like to think is one of the most patriotic cities of all in Mount Juliet. And at one of the most patriotic places in Mount Juliet at Needham's Nursery, they have thrown so many big fireworks shows throughout the years that you lost count. And they've got another one here this July 4th in Mount Juliet. Yeah, if you're counting at home, we got two for the 250th, and personally, I am super excited for that. We got Brent Blamires, our fire marshal, that's with one L, here to give us some tips, really in the backyard, buying fireworks, just the whole kit and caboodle when it comes to that. Brent, what would your first piece of advice be? Somebody in the backyard playing with fireworks, just making sure we stay as safe as possible this holiday season.
So first advice, one, is make sure you have a responsible adult there at all times lighting the fireworks. Don't let your kid light the fireworks. A lot of mishaps can happen. Little kids get close to them. Keep them a safe distance away, so if something does happen, they're safe, everybody's safe. That's the biggest thing we want, is everybody to be safe when lighting fireworks.
And then there's also an appropriate time that we have set in the city for vendors to sell fireworks. Enlighten us those. I mean, we do this every year, and I still need to know what that date is, so let us know.
So the vendors will start selling on June 20th, and they can sell clear until July 4th. So you'll start seeing the fireworks tents popping up throughout the city. Like I said, June 20th, you can get in there, start buying your fireworks. However, once you do buy the fireworks, we only allow a certain time for them to be shot off. So we have chosen, 4th of July falls on a Saturday this year, so you'll be able to shoot the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. each night.
We'll have that information in this video and readily available and posted throughout up until July 4th, just to make sure everybody's informed. And Brent, if you can enlighten us a little bit on the public, there's a lot of variables that go into setting those parameters, but really at the end of the day, as Kenny Martin, the Board of Commissioners, will say, safety is the utmost priority.
Yeah, and we strive for safety when it comes to these fireworks. Like I said, people want to go out and have a good time. We want to encourage you having a good time, but we want you to be responsible. So, when you are at your house, make sure you got a hose available or a bucket of water. If a firework doesn't discharge, put it in the bucket of water, just let it soak overnight, let it just get saturated so it doesn't, want to explode later, or somebody messes with it and something happens down the road. Some of the other safety tips is, don't do it around dry fields, and you can't shoot on other people's property unless you give them permission to. So, just be mindful of what you're doing. And again, responsibility is the key for the safety with fireworks.
And from a business perspective or a vendor perspective, you will be visiting these vendors here soon when the 20th comes, just to make sure that everything's good. Part of your job title and just making sure that we're going above and beyond, making sure everything's doing right.
Yeah, I'll hit every tent. I inspect them, make sure they have all their safety aspects set up, extinguishers, exit lights, things like that to protect the vendors, but also the public that's coming in to buy the fireworks as well.
Okay, good job. Good deal. I appreciate it. And I will say this, like we do with anything else, shop local, even when it comes to fireworks. If you're like me, you're just going to enjoy the fireworks shows and let the pros stay at it, right?
Yeah, and one other thing too, we do have a lot of neighborhoods, the HOAs, that like to get together and set up their own neighborhood shows. We encourage those a lot more because they're controlled. It's set up just like the city of Mount Juliet does their fireworks. It's at a smaller scale with Class C fireworks, so it's highly encouraged. But if you do fill out a temporary event, there's no cost for that permit. I'll come out, look at the site, make sure everything's good, and then you guys can have a neighborhood show in your HOA.
And on that token, naturally a very busy couple of days for the fire department with calls coming in. What would you say to the average person that might say, hey, I heard this in the backyard, X, Y, and Z? How can we make sure that y'all are doing your job and getting the important calls and maybe limiting some of those that don't have anything to it? You never be too safe, but you just, what would you say to that homeowner and those in the residents?
A homeowner, and I get it, if you're concerned and you feel like you need to make that call to our dispatch center, go right ahead. We may just send our battalion chief out to investigate it instead of a full engine company. If you feel like your firework has gone in a location that you're not comfortable with, and it might be on your roof or somebody else's, call us. We can come out and look at it. It's no charge. We want to make sure everything's safe. But we know that we're going to get calls for it, and PD and us we're ready for it. But like I said, if you feel like something has happened, call us. It's no problem for us to come out and look at it.
Absolutely. If you have any questions on this video, I think we've covered it all, but if not, feel free to chime in the comments. We will certainly try to get to those and answer as many questions from now leading up until July 4th and when you are able to shoot fireworks. Brent Blamires does a fantastic job. The fire marshal also in charge of our community engagement when it comes to the fire department. So anything you need, reach out to him, and we'll see you soon, Mount Juliet.